and then you solve the problem of reducing the noise by doing some innovation. So my next question is to Mr. Amit on why do you think that the innovation is important for a country like us? We are already close to 1.5 billion people, but I don't think so hardly anybody would care about innovation. Why do you think so it's important? Like you made your career in that for last 14 years. You are talking about innovation to people. Can we have your views on this?
Thanks, Priyanka. Thanks, panelists and attendees. Innovation is important for everybody. Innovation earns you respect. See, if you just think about it, how many people died in 9/11? 3,000 people died in 9/11, and because of 3,000 people, US waged war in Afghanistan, Iraq, other countries for 20 years now. And today in the US, 50,000 people have died, and nobody is waging a war against China. You know why? Because China has earned the respect. No matter what it is, no matter what people call it, it has earned respect because it has been innovating a lot. So if you see countries like China, they file 20 lakh patents a year. US files 6 lakh patents a year. Japan files 5 lakh patents a year. Korea 4 lakhs. Europe 2 lakhs. India 50,000 patents a year. It is important, innovation is important for our country because we want to be respected in the world. And for somebody else to respect us, we must innovate. That's my short answer.
So you said that China files 20 lakh patents and the US files a lot, many more than that, and India is just 50K. What difference does that make? Because I reckon IP rights are again jurisdictional, right? So if somebody has invented and patented, let's say, a product in US, I am very well free to use that in India. Why would it make sense for me to invest in R&D and protect the invention in India? What's the benefit of that?
See, India is a huge market. Okay, India can comprise 5 US in terms of population. So if you are doing a small invention and if you are having a monopoly in the large country like India, it's going to be extremely beneficial, and people have to understand that. And I'm sure Dr. Jere will talk more about government initiatives, what the government is doing for innovators in India. Over to you, Dr. Jere.
So yes,
You
Dr.
have to
Jere,
unmute. You have to
you are
unmute
on
yourself.
mute.
So yes, as you rightly said, that China is filing anywhere between 13 lakhs to 20 lakh patents a year. India is filing about 47,000. But the biggest part, or the bigger problem is that about 70% of these 47,000 patents are actually coming from NRIs again. They are not native Indians. More importantly, all our educational institutes are somewhere between together are about 2,200 to 2,500. Mm-hmm. If we are really talking about $5 trillion economy, which our Prime Minister is aiming for, we have to evolve as a knowledge-based economy. Mm-hmm. And if we have to evolve as a knowledge-based economy, then we have to ensure that innovation takes center stage. We have few thousand islands of innovation. Like if you go to US, you have universities like Stanford, Harvard, Caltech, MIT, which are islands of innovation and which are competing and producing really good ventures coming out of it. But unfortunately, that's not happening in India. As today is IP Day and WIPO actually publishes GII, which is Global Innovation Index. Yes. Many of the viewers may be aware of it. 5 years back, our rank on Global Innovation Index was 81. This year, our rank on Global Innovation Index is 52. We have made a substantial progress. But if you really look at a country like India, whether this 52 number or rank really does justice to our potential, the answer is no. If you see the countries ahead of us, you might not have heard about many of those countries. Estonia, Malta, Moldova. They are doing phenomenal. Even Greece, which went bankrupt a couple of years back, is still ahead of us on Innovation Index. Vietnam is ahead of us on Innovation Index. So we need to ensure that we generate right pipeline of ideas. If you really look at this, China number is 12th on GII, while Switzerland is considered to be one of the most innovative country. So if you have to move in that direction, and Prime Minister wants us to move in that direction, he has given us some targets, and because of a very systematic efforts, we are successful in jumping from 81 to 52, but we still have long way to go. And if we have to ensure that we actually we actually get into top 20 or top 25, which we are aiming in next 3 to 5 years, then we need to ensure that our educational institutes actually evolve as our innovation hubs. We have 40,000 educational institutes which are just doing higher education, and out of which about 10,500 are doing technical education. But if you really see even outputs from IITs or NITs, the quantum of output based on its expenses is still not very high when it comes to new ideas. They are generating great papers undoubtedly. So some work is certainly happening, but conversion of those ideas into something which is really sustainable is not happening very widely. We are a startup hub undoubtedly now. India has emerged as third biggest startup hub of the world, and many unicorns have come up. 23, 25 unicorns have come up. But if you really look at those unicorns, what kind of companies are emerging as unicorns? They are either e-commerce companies or logistic companies. They are not deep tech companies. And we need to ensure that we have to come up, or we need to promote deep tech companies. Then only we will be able to get respect what we are trying to demand in this world. Because if you don't have ideas which are going to change the world, you're not going to get the respect globally. And
absolutely,
in that direction, we all have to move. I will just conclude by saying two things here. That where the problem is with our school, problems is with our colleges, where students coming up with out-of-box ideas or good ideas, teachers are themselves killing those ideas. You know, you're not allowed to think out of box. It's all swallow and vomit kind of an education system, which we are trying to change with the new education policy. The new education policy will be out soon. We are certainly trying to change. But as Priyanka was also saying, similar, we actually did a study last year, 2019, what I'm talking about, with Stanford University, where we compared 5,000 Indian engineers from China and Russia. Okay, the data is still not out, but I can certainly share the insights. And we have found that problem-solving skills of Indian engineers are terrible as compared to Russian and Chinese engineers. Okay, so the students which get into engineering, their cognitive skills, design thinking skills are pretty bad, which actually results into problem-solving skills. Okay, they're pretty bad. And they eventually they recover a lot during our engineering program. But eventually, when you compare the passed out engineers from all the three countries, we are not very great at problem solving. And if you want to actually ensure that India emerges as global innovation hub, then we have to teach our youngsters to be part of the solution and not be part of problem. You know, that's where I would say. And
that's
and we can talk.
Yes.
I have not spoken very specifically about the schemes which you had asked, but I will cover them.
Okay.
Because we have multiple schemes. Again, then I don't want to hold the entire time.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much, Dr. Jere. So